Welcome back, Legion. Just thought I'd touch in and see how everyone's going. Today I want to have a bit of a chat about how to maintain your muscle mass during the lockdown, or if you're in isolation and your schedule's changed quite a fair bit. Even if you're working, you might find that your gym is closed, so you're finding it a little bit harder to get to the gym and lift some weights and maintain your lean mass. So it's a big problem for the majority of us, and it's something that as coaches we've had to solve as well. But it's been really good because it's broadened our horizon in regards to some of the techniques that can be used to maintain muscle mass or even build muscle mass during this time. So the first thing is kind of around environment and just trying to create a new routine, a new set of habits around your training and your nutrition. It's obviously going to have changed a little bit, but it's really important to sit down and think about, okay, what is my training schedule going to look like? What can I actually commit to? How often do I want to train? What do I have access to? What kind of equipment? What kind of space? And how often do I want to train? Also think about your nutritional habits. Okay, how often am I at home? How often do I go shopping? What food do I still need to buy? Am I still at work? You know, if something has changed, you need to rethink that process. When am I going to eat? So what times of the day am I going to eat? Etc., etc., etc. It doesn't necessarily change that much from what we would normally do if there was no lockdown. But the idea is you need to have this mindset of something has changed in your life, so you need to work your way around it. All right. If we look at it from a training perspective, there's a couple of different techniques that you can use, because obviously we might not have as much access to heavy weights and machinery, etc. So we've got to get clever with what we've got. So if body weight and band work and maybe light dumbbell work is all we've got, there's a few techniques to make the most out of it. The first one is high reps. So when I mean high reps, I'm talking like 100 plus reps, just pure lactic burn. So push-ups, sets of 50, sets of, 100. If you can grab a band, curls, sets of 50, sets of 100, just high rep, burn, accumulate lots of volume that way. The next is slow eccentrics, so slowing it down. So the eccentric is the lowering portion of an exercise, and this is where the muscle is lengthening. And during this lengthening process, there's some microtrauma to the muscle tissue, and this is essentially where the muscle can repair and grow bigger. So the eccentric component of an exercise is really important to muscle growth, and by slowing it down, you can put that muscle under more strain and potentially create more myofibril damage, so more muscle cell damage, which is kind of what we're after in regards to muscle growth, because that muscle cells, they now need to repair and grow bigger and stronger. So slowing it down, 4 to 6 second lowers. Yeah, so taking lots of time, and these still might be for sets of 8 to 10. And when you think about it, a 6-second lower for a set of 10, that's a minute set. That's a long time. If you do a normal set, that is, say, a normal set of 10 with a 1 up, 1 down cadence, that's only going to be 20 seconds max. So a 60-second set is a lot of time under tension. All right. The next one is isometrics or pauses, and again, working on the same kind of thing as the eccentrics, trying to increase time under tension a little bit, or holding in the stretched position. So you can kind of pause at any position, but in particular in the stretched position, this technique can actually be used when we go back to the gym as well by kind of doing loaded stretching. But this loaded stretching, say for example in the bottom position of a push-up where your chest is still just off the ground and you're stretching your chest muscles, it's shown that this extra stretching under a certain period of time creates a bit of cell signaling through the mTOR pathway, which is basically the muscle building pathway. really simple science there, but I don't want to make it too confusing. So it's kind of promoting your body to send in some extra satellite cells for extra muscle growth, basically. And then you can combo this as well. So the combination of tempo, so where it might be like a 3-second lower, a 3-second pause in the bottom, and then even a 3-second up as well. So just creating heaps of time under tension. If load isn't going to be our way to make progressive overload, then we can do it via time, we can do it via repetition, and then we can also do it via difficulty of exercise. So for example, push-ups can be progressed from an incline push-up to a ground push-up to a feet elevated push-up, just as a very basic example. But that increased intensity in exercise variation can also create muscle growth, and just variation in general stimulates the muscle in a different way and promotes growth in a different way. The next part obviously is the nutritional component. Now, regardless of what situation we're in, if you want to build muscle, you've got to eat lots, and you have to create a caloric surplus. This just means eating more calories than you are expending throughout the day. So the first thing I'd like you to prioritise is total caloric intake. You just need to make sure that you are eating enough calories to not only support muscle growth, but also the extra energy expenditure that you're going to have had throughout the day. Yes, this might mean that you might get a little bit extra body fat that comes with it, but you can actually maintain this by ebbing and flowing your caloric intake. So you don't need to go into like 1,000 calorie surplus where it's way too big, but just 200 or 300 each day. And then maybe you might have a day where you're at maintenance or even just below maintenance to keep your body fat levels in check so they don't get out of hand. Or if anything, just simply not gain any body fat while you're gaining lean muscle mass. Tip though, if you're not gaining any weight at all, then you're definitely not eating enough calories. The next biggest thing to prioritise is protein. So thinking chicken, beef, beans, yogurt, protein powder as a supplement. 1 palm for a female, 2 palms for a dude. All right, looking anywhere between 20 to 40 grams for a female and 30 to 60 for a guy. Like, it's a fair amount of protein. Obviously depends. The bigger you are, the more protein that you're going to need. And you want to be eating protein at every single meal. The other 2 macronutrients are obviously really important, but probably the next biggest thing for me is to eat frequently, or at least schedule when you are going to eat. Because skipping a meal is probably the worst thing that you could do. So eating frequently ensures that you're going to get enough calories in throughout the day and enough protein throughout the day. So if you don't schedule your meals to be eaten at regular times, there's a good chance you might miss a meal. And if you're trying to shoot for a large amount of calories in a day and you miss a meal, you're going to find yourself having to catch up. All right, guys, that's my simple take on it. I think that's more than enough to actually get everyone started. We can go way deeper, so look out for a part 2. Cheers.